if you've never seen one, this is one of the original APPA Football game fields that was issued with the game, starting with the original 1957 season set released in 1958 and continuing into the early 90s with the complete 1993 NFL season set released in 1994. The field began undergoing several adjustments since then. Now, we're going to be holding our second all-football tabletop sports gaming event, Cards and Dice, football wall-to-wall at the Hall, August 26th and 27th in Canton, Ohio. We hope the content that we generate out of it gets us some good traction and gets more folks motivated to hold their gaming events at the Hall. We know the electric football folks have been there, I believe at the invitation of the Hall. But now, this is the second time we've been there. We were there for the first time in August of 2013, 10 years ago, during that legendary summer of 2013, the birth of a lot of the regional APPA tournaments. The Boys and Girls Club of Bridesburg playing in the Robert Henry Memorial Tournament down in King of Prussia, which is invitation only. The Chicagoland Tournament, which just wrapped up, another huge success for Rob Spatz and his crew. Just an amazing series of tournaments. And so we're raising the flag for APPA football again here in the 10th anniversary of our first Canton tournament. And to mark the occasion, we've turned to some of the great contributors to the community, Bobby Porter and Paul Barone. They both make custom fields. I just posted on my Facebook page an article we did in March of 2013 talking about the fields of George Adams and Ken Kraft. And the modification segment of tabletop sports gaming has only grown in sophistication and scope. And Bobby Porter and Paul Barone are putting out some really quality material here. So I generated some art for us, a couple of cool elements so that we can play a few games, not only in Canton, but I'm going to bring a couple of these out to Plaay.con in 2023 in Denver later this week, where I'll be presenting some demos of APPA football during the Play Any Game You Want demos on Friday night. They'll be giving a talk on the future of tabletop sports gaming on Saturday morning. Wish me luck there. But in our never-ending quest to get APPA football out in front of folks as most likely the first statistics-based football game out there, and relevant today as it has ever been. Let's take a look at some of these fields and see what Paul Barone and Bobby Porter cooked up for us. Now, Paul Barone, I found him when I was lurking the Stratomatic football sites, and he was producing these fields that, gee, they look like they would work pretty well for APPA football needs, or pretty much any football need. And he has since really grown his business, and just can't say enough about his customer service, the quality of his work. He's a super addition to the gaming community. I mean, when I say addition, I'm sure he's been playing these games for as long as we all have, so, you know, but he's really doing incredible work, dice towers, score sheets, you name it, and he'll work with you. It's been nothing but smooth sailing with Mr. Paul Barone down there in Virginia. I've taken his fields out to Soldier Field. I've taken them down to Virginia, so I'm going to be taking them out to Ohio next. They travel quite well, and let's take a look at what they look like for our Canton Gridiron Games 2023. Do love these old original APPA football fields, though. Okay, so here's what we've got from Paul Barone, okay? These are the large versions of his Stratomatic style fields, which have the timing tracks on them, including that vital 2-minute warning timing, where you get apparently 8 ticks per minute at the end of the second and fourth quarters when you're playing Stratomatic. But we created our nice little end zone art here with a nice little shield, and this is all done in Quark with some manipulation later on in Word. I might have done a couple of these in Word, actually, now I think about it, because it's really just a red square. Actually, right, the shield I did in Quark with I think a Zaf Dingvat, and then just did the end zones in red, and over here we got a little Canton 23. This is a different version I gave Bobby Porter. Now Paul sells a basic Hall of Fame field for Tom Benson Hall of Fame stadium, and threw a little extra typography in here just to commemorate our event, the 10-year anniversary. And these black shields honor two of the most notable, legendary, beloved figures in the world of APPA football. Howard Alskog, who saved the APPA Journal from bankruptcy when he took over as editor in 1989, and really worked to put APPA football on the map. Howard Alskog really paved the way for making it safe to talk about APPA football mods in the APPA Journal. And to be fair, there were a lot of APPA football articles in the 70s, and you can see that if you buy Bob Tassinari's APPA Journal drive from eBay. Now, the second shield we've put on the field here is for Denny Hodge. He was a great guy. He had been carding the APPA football sets for the past 10 years. Unfortunately, he passed, a very sad blow to the community, and super great guy. In fact, in August of 2013, he had just finished a really detailed score sheet slash stat keeper, and he was gracious enough to phone in during our tournament, where we held a bunch of presentations and demos in our August 2013, very much a learning environment as much as a gaming environment. And so Denny Hodge, really an incredible contributor to the APPA football community. And this is what Paul's fields look like. These are the large versions. There's a smaller version. I even dropped them on the ground, so sorry. They've already been a little used here, and that's they can take a lick in here, I tell you. If it were snowing right now, God, I wish. It's really summery weather here in New Jersey. Okay, now let's take a look at Bobby Porter's APPA fields here. All right, now what he's doing is he's hewing to that kind of the track style, where you put the football in here and the down marker up here, and just doing it on some white matte board here. He's got a great printer, a great communicator, and we honed the style here. We've got our celebratory type there, your basic Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium, Pro Football Hall of Fame. You know, Bobby's got quite a history with Canton, and at some point we'll have to talk to him about that. You'll see him post about it on occasion. There we get our Hall of Fame logo. This is just a flat, straight, plain Jane Tom Benson Hall of Fame Stadium. I hope they get a kick out of that. And then we have a version with our AFC APPA Football Club shields, Canton 2023, Denny and Howard's honorary shields at the 35-yard lines. In this case, we got some of the 25-yard lines on the Paul Barone versions. And then we have the red end zone version. This is Gloucester. This is it's what it's called, Gloucester on Macintosh. It's kind of a condensed Cheltenham, very great labeling font. You see it in the New York Times all the time. It's a great font. And throw in a little future over here, Canton 2023. I probably could have deepened that blue and bolstered the border on the type there, but hey, what the heck? We can always come back and order a few more here. Again, you get the nice track for the football field, the football and the down marker there. Denny and Howard are represented at the 25-yard lines on this version. And then you can ask Bobby to provide just the prints. Okay, so you can experiment with your own mountings if you'd like. And he's getting into business as well. He'll do custom prints for you. He does a lot of the vintage stadiums, the 70s, 80s, 90s, I believe. Definitely the 80s and 90s. The 70s fields can be a little plain Jane if you go look at Gridiron Uniform Database, but I'm eager to see how we think about mounting some of these. Maybe we'll be able to give some of these away. And we have one extra Hall of Fame field for a very special person in the APPA football community. We're going to be hand delivering this one to Mr. Dave Urban, who is a great APPA football historian, goes back to the 60s at the very least, who really filled in a lot of the gaps in our knowledge. We did a Q&A with him years ago, and we'll have to republish that sometime. Hopefully we can interview him a bit when we're down there. He's a fellow Jerseyan, And in any case, that's what you can do. And that's what you're going to see at Canton, Ohio. And just for because he's such a nice guy, here's a St. Louis Cardinals field from Bobby. And don't you know that I have a little Cardinals project that, of course, I recorded once, but wasn't satisfied with it. I'm just going to have to take that St. Louis out because we're going to be filming a little replay for the Chicago Cardinals Facebook fan page. Shh, don't tell them. But that's what we got going, folks. And we're going to be at Plaay.con Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So if any of you are there, and I know there was at least one gentleman I'm going to be catching up with, and look to really touch base with St. Patrick and Al Wilson, Fast Drive Football, and Sports Sim Magazine, respectively, in reverse. Al Wilson created Fast Drive Football. What an incredible launch. Hey, maybe he'll take one of these babies home. Who knows? And, gee, it's a busy time for football games. Ron Pizar, I believe, is at World Board Gaming Championship soon. He of the Data-Driven Football. So, football, it's coming around. The Jets are in training camp right here in the Meadowlands. And Aaron Rodgers is connecting. So, let's see what happens with Gang Green. Hope to see you in Canton. And if you need any contact information from Paul Barone or Bobby Porter, let us know, and we'll be glad to hook you up and really take advantage of their talents, because they're turning out top flight work. And we've seen for the past 10 years, I mean, Greg Barrett, God, his collection of fields, I forget the art, the gentleman who created the art for those fields originally, but dozens of fields. You can go you can go as far as you want with the hobby, let's put it that way. And then don't forget John Sparty. Now I'm thinking about asking him if he might produce, I'm not sure, the football field. If I had an idea for a custom football field, something with 3D printed dice towers that resembled some of the old cylindrical, ramps, pedestrian ramps up at some of the old stadiums, and maybe even the all-wood Deltaville ballpark down in Deltaville, Georgia. We just spent a week vacation down there. The state's oldest all-wooden baseball field. The possibilities are endless. So if you have never considered a custom piece of work for your tabletop sports gaming, and I know many have, John Sparty's got tons of customers. So don't forget Michigan and Trumbull. We'll see if we can put a couple of dice boxes together with them for our Canton tournament. We have a couple of ideas we passed along, so spend your money in the community and enjoy.